Hey guys, we're going to be looking at the Instagram Stories collection and how you can use it to quickly create fantastic content for your channels. We're also going to be looking at the included phone mockup to preview the stories that we've created. Check out the link to the project in the description below. Alright, let's get to it. So when we're in Final Cut, the first thing that we're going to do is create a new library. And we can just call that InstaTest. Then from there, we're going to create a new project. And the important thing that you want to do here is to make sure that you set the video to custom and then the resolution to 1080 by 1920. This is the resolution for Instagram stories. And you also want to change the frame rate to 30 frames per second. Project name, you can just call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Instagram. So we hit OK, and then we can go into our titles, and then in Instagram Stories collection, you're going to see all of the content there. So we can press titles again, and you can actually see all the videos. So what we're going to do is select two and show you how it works. So straight away, what you're going to notice is it's got the background from the preview video, and obviously it's got a drop zone in the place of your product. So what you're going to do is go into your media and then go File, Import, Media, and then find your files, hit Command A to select all, and then just click Import All. So what I'm going to do is select my title and then go over here where you'll find all the settings. It starts with the colors, but we want to find drop zone, as that's what we're going to be placing our picture of a camera. So what we're going to do is click on the drop zone and then select our image. Now, I must remind you that your images will need to have an alpha background. As you can see here, this is a PNG that we've imported with an alpha layer, and you can create your alpha PNGs inside of Photoshop or other popular imaging softwares as well. But once we've done that, we can just hit apply clip, and now with the rest of the story, the camera will come in. So now we can go about and change everything else. Let's say that we want to call this new camera, and then over here we're going to change the price to about $8.99, and then obviously our rectangle is a little bit small now, so we're going to have to find the controller. It should be in the first settings over here, rectangle width, and we can actually just shorten that to the preferred size. The other thing is we can actually change the 40% off sign, or we can even turn it off if we don't want to use that. You can just tick it off over here, but we're going to use it and just find the text for it. We're going to just call this one 25%. And we'll just keep off over there. Now you'll notice over here you also have controls to turn off the lines, and you can also turn off the rectangle if you don't want it, and then you'll just delete the text here to make sure that it's all gone. But we'll keep that on. Now let's also show you the color controls. So at the top here you can see you've got BG, which is the background color 1, color 2, and then you've got your lines color and all the extra colors, which are the circles as well as the colors of the accents on each shape. So let's change this. We're going to have a bit more of a red style now. So then for the extra color 1, we're going to change that to a blue. And then the extra color 2 is also going to be more of a blue, lightish color. So this color we're going to keep white. And then the price text we're actually going to change to a darker color. So we'll just select a nice dark color here. And then what I'm going to do, this is quite a nice trick, is to just select that block and then drop it onto the other blocks that you want to change. And then we can also just change the lines color and make that quite a lot darker. Of course, you also have controls for the bottom. If you want to send a message at the bottom, you can actually select from a variety of different arrows. We're going to choose arrow 6 for this one. And then of course you can change your text. We're going to just change that to buy now. And then you can also have a line, and you can change the length of that line. And then of course change all of the elements colors. So that's our first Instagram story, and let's check it out. All right, looking good. So let's move along to number 14 now. And number 14's got a drop zone in it surrounded by a whole lot of colored shapes. So what we're going to do is select number 14 and select our drop zone. The first one should be the background, and I'm going to select the video that I've got here from the start. So there you can see that the footage is revealed underneath. So what I'm going to do is to change the text which comes on first, which is "Are you tough enough?" So if we can just find "Are you tough enough?" over here. What we're going to say is 10 days to the big one. So now let's see how that comes in. Cool. And of course, you also have the option to change all of these fonts if you've got something specific. I think that this would actually be a bit nice if we changed it to bold or another bold. So let's actually find Montserrat. And then over here, I can actually change this to black and really get a strong message going. Now, again, you have the controls to change the colors and you have the controls to change the text. So basically marathon, perhaps there's something else that you want to do, school, fun run. And then you can change all the other text around, but we can keep it like that. And then you can also see that there's a drop zone here for your logo. If you don't want to use it, you can just slide it off over here. But if you do want to use it, you can just keep it in, select your drop zone, and then say apply clip. Now this is interesting because our logo is a different color. What we can do is change our own colors of the background around. Now this is obviously also going to mean that we're going to have to change the color of our text. So let's do that here. We can just go into the text, then find 10 days to the big one, and we can change that to a nice darkish color. So let's check that out. So what you also might want is a specific length for your story. They normally come in at around 12 seconds each, but your footage might cut out, as you see mine does over here. So what I want to do is maybe just shorten it to this point. So normally you would think maybe just extend it, but what that does is actually slow down the story itself. So if you want a slow project, you just have to drag it out. But let's just hit Command Z and get back to where we were. What we want to do is just create a new compound clip, and I'm going to call that 14. And so I want to find the point at which it stops right over here, and then I'm just going to shorten it there. So now when I press play, the story starts at the same time, but it's this time a little bit shorter. So the last one we're going to do, we can actually just delete these off of the project now. So just go back into the titles and we're going to find number 16. And number 16 is the one that allows you to pick your numbers. So we're going to just say we're looking at 76 new ways to make money. So what we're going to do is, first of all, select the amount of numbers, and it's going to be 2. And then what I'm going to do is change the first number to 7 and the second number to 6. And then what you can do is actually move them into position. So now all we have to do is go down and change the text from ways to improve our well-being to get more money. And then I can obviously just put that on a new line. But what I also might want to do is make the size of the text smaller, just so it really pops on that 76. We can also just make the font at the top a little bit smaller. And then of course, again, we have those options to change our colors. So perhaps instead of the white, let's try and get a nice dark color. Then for the line, what I might want to do is actually make that white. And then for the background colors, let's find something completely different. Okay, so now that I've done tweaking, let's just press play and see how that's come out. Very nice. All right, so what we're going to do with this one is export it and use it within our phone mockup. So what I'm going to do is just go File, Share. And I'll just say master file. Let's just quickly check the settings. Apple Pros will do. And okay, so I'm just going to export this. And now what we can do is just set up a new project at 1920 by 1080. And we can just call this our mockup. All right, let's head back into titles. We're still in Instagram Stories collection. And at the bottom, you'll find the iPhone mockup. Let's press spacebar and see what it looks like. All right, so just like before, we've got a drop zone to stick in our footage. And then when we go further down, you'll notice that there's 2 options for the phone. You can have the black version and the white version. So I'm just waiting for my render to finish up here. And once it does, So now we'll import our footage. So now we'll import our story. We'll go File, Import Media. Here's our story. We'll say Import Selected and select the iPhone mockup, and then select the drop zone and select it and say Apply Clip. And automatically it's going to size, and automatically it will size correctly to that of the phone. And then you'll have options to choose the UI elements. I'm actually just going to change the color here so you can see them a bit more clearly. they're there in the background. Let's also just take off this titles menu so we can see what's going on. So here's the accents at the bottom and the top. You have the option to turn both of those off if you want. And then you also have background options. So further along you have your background settings, and you'll see here you have the option of a solid, a gradient, or a drop zone. So we're just going to use gradient this time, and I'm going to completely change these colors around. And then at the very end you have these options to put a couple of accents on, and we're just going to use the dots. We're going to use 2 sets of those. So the first is going to be on the middle right, and the second is going to be on the top left. So you'll see over here we've got dots, and we've got dots over there. So let's see what that looks like played back. And that looks great. Remember, you can also put text or images or even logos, icons, whatever you want on the right hand side here, and then just export it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. The link for the project will be in the description below, and if you have any questions, shoot them down in the comment section. Hope to see you very soon on the channel again. Cheers. Bye.